Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Ahmad Nauman, and today we are going to start textile industry. So mainly the title of our lecture is raw materials, flowsheet diagrams, unit operation and unit processes, and applications of textile industry. So this topic is quite broad, and it's not possible to cover it in a single lecture. So we will have 4 to 5 lectures in which we will cover all the related stuff. So this is the first lecture of the series, and today in this lecture we will discuss about the basic introduction of textile industry, what it is, and then we will describe some types of industries and also what is the textile raw materials. So in this lecture we will describe these parts, and then we will continue from the next lectures. So what actually is textile? Textile is a Latin word which is actually originated from the word tecura or texera. There it can be pronunciated in 2 different ways. So its meaning is to weave. I mean, जिसको हम उर्दू में बुनाई करना कहते हैं किसी चीज़ की. So textile के मतलब है बुनना किसी चीज़ को, बुनाई करना, to weave something. And the actual the textile industry does not only involve the process of weaving, but the process of designing, in which first we design a product, whether we are going to manufacture some kind of fabric, or we are going to develop some kind of carpet, and whatever. First we have to design, and then we go towards the developmental process to develop some raw materials and the mechanical part which are required for the manufacturing of those materials. And after the development of the required tools, then we actually go towards the manufacturing process of those textile products. And after we develop these products, the next and one of the most important process is the distribution or marketing, and delivering those textile products taking from the industry and giving it to the end user. And these all processes including the research, design, development, manufacturing and distribution of different textiles, including fabrics or clothing or carpets, whatever. So these are all included in the textile industry. So इस lecture में जो है हम जो कि it will be around 3, 4 or 5 lecture about textile industry. So we will cover all of these or most of these aspects of textile industry. Okay, so now let's move towards the classification of textile. So we can classify textile products and textile industries into different categories, and there can be different parameters on which the classification can be done. Normally we classify textiles based on their component fibers, from what they are made of, or kind of structure and how they are made of, the process of manufacturing, or also we can categorize them on the basis of the quality or the uses where we are going to use them. So normally the textiles are classified according to their component fibers. For example, we can divide them into fibers which are made of silk, wool, linen or cotton, which are which are made of from natural fibers. Similarly, there are textile products which are made from synthetic fibers like rayon, nylon, polyesters. So this is another category of textile which are made of the man-made or synthetic fibers. Similarly, there are textile products which are made from inorganic fiber like cloth of gold, glass fiber or asbestos cloth. So based on the type of fiber which we are using, we can classify them into different categories, either natural, made from natural fiber, made from synthetic fiber or some kind of inorganic fiber. Similarly, how they are made of, actually we can divide the textiles on the basis of their structure or the weaving process, whether they are weaved or knitted or they are just made composites. So based on their manufacturing process, we can also categorize them. Then another factor which can be used to categorize is the value or quality of textiles, and that actually also depends on various factors. One of them is the quality of the raw materials, what kind of quality of the raw materials we are using. And then another parameter is the character of the yarn, which is one from the fiber. So whether that yarn is either clean, it is smooth, it is fine, or it's just a coarse kind of material. Also we have to see that whether the twisting is hard, soft or medium. So that actually determines the quality of the final textile product. Similarly, the density of weaving and finishing processes are important elements in determining the quality of fabrics, and that actually play a role in categorizing the textile products based on their quality. Another variation of the textile product is embroidered products, which have include embroidery on this fabric surface. इसी तरह जो है टाइप ऑफ टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री इज फॉर्मेशन ऑफ कॉर्पेट्स एट्सेट्रा. तो जो कॉर्पेट है, कालीन वगैरह जो बनते हैं, दिस इज अनदर ब्रांच ऑफ और अनदर टाइप ऑफ टेक्सटाइल फैब्रिक. Similarly, there are other specially prepared fabrics which are not woven, or like felt and bark cloth, and they are prepared by different mechanism than the normal fabric. And also there are some other methods of formation or production of fabric material, like a single thread is looped or plaited to form some netting materials, जैसा कि लेसेस वगैरह जो होती हैं उनको बनाया जाता है. सो देयर मैकेनिज्म ऑफ फॉर्मेशन इज डिफरेंट in which one thread is used to single threads are used. And among the different types of textile जो हमने अभी डिस्कस की हैं, कि जो हमारे पास टेक्सटाइल होती हैं, डिपेंड करता है कि इनके लिए हम फाइबर कौन सा यूज़ कर रहे हैं, नेचुरल यूज़ कर रहे हैं, सिंथेटिक फाइबर यूज़ कर रहे हैं, या सम इनऑर्गेनिक फाइबर यूज़ कर रहे हैं. इसके अलावा डिपेंडिंग के जो रॉ मटेरियल यूज़ कर रहे हैं उसकी क्वालिटी क्या है, उसको निटिंग की जा रही है या उसको जस्ट कंपोजिट बनाए जा रहे हैं, वेदर उसके ऊपर एम्ब्रॉयडरी है या नहीं है, या कालीन मटेरियल बना रहे हैं. सो देयर आर डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज ऑफ द टेक्सटाइल प्रोडक्ट. And normally these days mostly these products are actually prepared in factories on different kind of machines which are used for that purpose. And normally the most of the products which are using these days are machine produced, but still जो कुछ अच्छी products हैं, there are some really fine velvets, brocades and especially the table linens, they are still actually made by hand. Although these handmades are expensive one, but they are of really fine quality. So these are the different types of textile materials or products which are commonly uh, available in the market, or we come across each day. Now let's have a look about the world's largest producers or exporters of the textile products. So as expected, China is at the top of the table, as you can see in this diagram. This is the diagram which shows the 10 largest producers of textile products, and the values are given in exports in billion US dollars. So, and at the top is China, which has the textile exports of around 119 billion US dollars. That is actually per year. And then after China, there is European Union. It has a textile product exports of about 74 billion US dollars per year. And then जब आप इंडिविजुअल कंट्रीज की बात करें, आफ्टर यू कैन सी दैट अब चाइना इज़ 119, एंड देन द नंबर थर्ड इज़ इंडिया, और जिसकी प्रोडक्ट जो है दैट इज़ अराउंड 1/6 ऑफ चाइना. इट्स अराउंड ओनली 18 बिलियन US dollars पर ईयर. सो क्लियरली द चाइना इज़ द विनर हेयर. एंड एक्चुअली जो चाइना की जो टेक्सटाइल प्रोडक्ट्स हैं दे आर यूज्ड ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड. आप कहीं भी जाते हैं anywhere in the world. So many of the product जो हम घरों में use कर रहे हैं, you will see in the restaurants or in the offices, they are mostly made in China. So those are, so China is actually has captured the markets all along all in the globe, and we will see the Chinese product everywhere. And that is evident here that 119 billion US dollars China gets every year from the exports of textile products. And after the India, there is United States, which has export of around 14 billion US dollars, and then there is Turkey, around having 12 billion US dollar export per year of the textile products. And then there is Republic of Korea, which is also known as South Korea. जनूबी कोरिया जो है उसकी प्रोडक्ट्स जो हैं वो भी वो स्टैंड कर रही हैं ऑन द 6th पोजीशन विद अराउंड 10 बिलियन US dollars per year. And after Korea there is Taipei, Chinese Taipei, and then Vietnam, and then on the 9th position is Pakistan, and then Hong Kong, China. So we can see that we are lagging around at 9th position in overall world's exporters of the textile product, but still we are in the top 10. And in next slide we will discuss about the textile industries of Pakistan. So now let's move towards the textile industry of Pakistan. So we should know that textile industry is the largest manufacturing industry in Pakistan. And being the largest manufacturing industry of Pakistan, it contributes about 8.5% of the GDP of the Pakistan. And the more important factor or parameter which we should know is that the textile industry actually employs around 45% of the total labor force in Pakistan, which mean कि 45% जो लेबर है पाकिस्तान में जो काम कर रही है, that is actually directly or indirectly related with the textile industry. So this shows how important is the textile industry for people of Pakistan as a country and as individual at the individual level. As half of our workforce or the labor is working with the textile industry, so if there is a growth of textile industry, there is development in the textile industry, that will mean that it is actually the development of Pakistan and the poor people of the country. So it applies in the vice versa, that if there is some negative things related with the textile industry are, as we know that there is a lot of talk about these days about the shutting down of different textile industries in Pakistan due to definitely competition from Chinese product, and that actually उसका result क्या हो रहा है कि जो हमारी labor force है, that is actually they are getting unemployed. So I think the stress should be applied towards the development of textile industry in Pakistan, as it's really important for the labor force of the Pakistan for their survival. When we talk about textile industry, one of the major speciality of the Pakistan when we talk about the textile industry is the cotton products. So we are the fourth largest producers of cotton, and among the when we talk about the cotton, the most important parameter is the spinning capacity, and we are the third largest. We have the third largest spinning capacity in Asia after China and India, and Pakistan contributes around 5% to the actually the global spinning capacity. So that again shows के जो textile industry है how important it is, and और कितनी significantly ये जो पाकिस्तान की development में अपना रोल प्ले कर सकती है. सो अभी तक हमने बात की है कि टेक्सटाइल क्या होती हैं, व्हाट आर द टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्रीज़ और उनकी टाइप्स क्या हैं, व्हाट आर द कैटेगरीज ऑफ डिफरेंट टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्रीज़ एंड प्रोडक्ट्स, एंड देन वी ब्रीफली ओवरव्यू हु आर द लार्जेस्ट एक्सपोर्टर्स ऑफ द टेक्सटाइल प्रोडक्ट्स. सबसे ज़्यादा टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री किसकी डेवलप है, कौन सबसे ज़्यादा टेक्सटाइल प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, डेफिनेटली इट इज़ चाइना. एंड then in the last slide we discussed briefly about the textile industry of Pakistan, that how important it is, how large it is, and how it is contributing to the development of the country itself. So now the next we will move towards the another important parameter for any industry, which is the raw material. So textile raw material क्या होते हैं? So any substance or any material which is used for the manufacturing of textile product is called the textile raw material. So कोई भी substance है, कोई भी material है कि जिसको हम किसी भी जो हमारे पास फैब्रिक बन रही है, कुछ जो बाकी मटेरियल बन रहे हैं जो टेक्सटाइल में बन रहे हैं, सो कोई भी जो मटेरियल है, जो हम रॉ मटेरियल जो हम यूज़ कर रहे हैं, जो हम इनिशियली कोई कॉटन यूज़ कर रहे हैं, हम कोई केमिकल यूज़ कर रहे हैं, हम कोई डाई यूज़ कर रहे हैं, जो भी उसमें यूज़ हो रहा है उसके बनाने में किसी भी टेक्सटाइल प्रोडक्ट के, चाहे वो फैब्रिक है, चाहे वो कपड़ा है, क्लॉथिंग है, वट एवर दैट इज़. सो any ingredient that is involved in the manufacturing of that product is actually known as raw material. So we can define textile raw material as the primary substances which are used as an input to produce final textile products are called textile raw material. यानी कि वो तमाम प्राइमरी मटेरियल जो कि हम इस्तेमाल करके फाइनल प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं उनको टेक्सटाइल रॉ मटेरियल कहा जाता है. सो टेक्सटाइल रॉ मटेरियल्स आर सिलेक्टेड एज पर द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पॉलिसी ऑफ द कंपनी. डिपेंड्स, आप फॉर एग्जांपल इफ़ आप अगर एक कपड़ा बनाते हैं, यू आर मेकिंग सम काइंड ऑफ बेडशीट अगर आप बना रहे हैं फॉर एग्जांपल, सो उसके लिए जो रॉ मटेरियल यूज़ हो रहा है दैट can be different in different companies, in different industries, and in different countries. For example, if you talk about Vietnam, which is the 7th largest exporters of the textile products worldwide. So what is the most famous actually cloth of Vietnam? That is actually the silk. The Vietnamese silk is really famous all around the world, and that is of really fine quality. So the raw material which will be used over there will be different from the raw material which we are using in Pakistan, because mostly the cotton of Pakistan is really famous, and that is actually major component of the textile products in Pakistan which are used for like making clothes. So depending on the country, depending on the company, and depending on the application where we are going to use that product, so the textile materials will be different. So they are mostly selected based on the manufacturing policy of the company and the end use of that product. Or this is the definition ki what are the textile raw materials and how they are selected. And then in the next we will study about the individual textile raw materials, what are the categories of textile raw materials and what they are. So we will, in next slide we will inshallah discuss in detail about the textile raw materials. So when we talk about any textile product or any fabric or any material, so the most important thing which determines the quality of any textile product is the quality of raw material. The quality of raw material determines the quality and usage and the fineness of the end product. So जब तक आप अच्छा raw material use नहीं करते, आप अच्छी product produce नहीं कर सकते. So जो quality होती है raw material की, that वो डिसाइड करती है कि आपके पास जो फाइनल प्रोडक्ट आ रही है जो वो किस क्वालिटी की होगी. सो दैट शोज के हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इट इज़ द क्वालिटी ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल्स. The selection of raw materials is a very important step in any textile industry in and everywhere in the world. And when we talk about the categories of different kind of raw materials, so we can broadly speaking we divide the textile raw materials into 4 different categories. The first type of raw material which is used for manufacturing of different textile product is fibers. So the individual fibers which are used for the production of textile products, that is the one type of raw material. Then the second type of the category of raw materials used in textile industry is fabric. And the third important kind of raw material, the third important category is the dyes which are used for the manufacturing of the textile product. And fourth and the last category for the textile raw materials used in the manufacturing process is chemicals and auxiliaries, which are really important for manufacturing of the textile products. So these are the 4 main categories which we study under the types of raw materials or textile raw materials. So next we will discuss in details and with examples all of these 4 categories. Let's now discuss in detail about the textile raw materials, and first one is the fibers. So naturally there are multiple kind of fibers which are present over there and which has been utilized for centuries for making many kind of products, in for example cloth. But besides the natural fibers which are present or which are available for making different textile products, nowadays there is a production of a variety of different kind of man-made fibers that can also be used for the manufacturing of textile products. But normally most of the products or most of the textile products which are being used in the world today are made from the natural fibers. So fiber is, if we have to define a fiber, what is a fiber? Fiber is a matter which includes flexibility, fineness and a high ratio of length to thickness. And a fiber should necessarily have a length to diameter of at least 1000 to consider it a fiber. And besides the length to diameter ratio, there are some other characteristics which are required for the textile fibers depending on where we are using that particular textile product. For example, in certain cases there is higher stability is required at the higher temperatures depending on where we are using that fibers. Similarly, for some application we need more strength or the elasticity, so that actually totally depends where we are going to use that fiber or what use that product. So depending on the final use of the textile product or fabric, so we choose the type of fiber. सो हमारे पास जो है वो डिफरेंट तरह के जो फाइबर हैं वो अवेलेबल हैं. मोस्टली जो है वो नेचुरल फाइबर सदियों से यूज़ हो रहे हैं. देर आर आल्सो वी हैव सम सिंथेटिक और मैन मेड फाइबर. लेकिन मोस्टली जो है वो जो प्रोडक्ट हम देखते हैं और दुनिया में जो बनती हैं वो ज़्यादातर नेचुरल फाइबर्स, फॉर एग्जांपल सिल्क है या कॉटन है, उनसे बनाई जाती हैं. ये कपास जिस है जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा हम यूज़ करते हैं पाकिस्तान में. तो फाइबर को डिफ़ाइन जब आप करते हैं तो मोस्टली जो फाइबर के लिए एक रिक्वायरमेंट है, आप फाइबर तब कहते हैं कि अगर उसकी जो लेंथ और डायामीटर रेशो है एटलीस्ट 1:100 होनी चाहिए. अगर इससे कम हो तो हम उसको फाइबर के अंदर इंक्लूड नहीं कर सकते. और मेन पर्पस ऑफ द फाइबर जो है वो होता है कि वो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी देता है, वो फाइननेस देता है जो है आपकी प्रोडक्ट को. इसके अलावा डिपेंडिंग कि आपने अपना जो फैब्रिक है जो फाइनल जो प्रोडक्ट है आपने उसको कहाँ पे यूज़ करना है, तो उसकी बेस पे जो है वो आप फाइबर सिलेक्ट करते हैं कि आपने उसको अप्लाई कहाँ पे करना है. और डिपेंडिंग कि आपकी जो एप्लीकेशन क्या है, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपने जो कोई फैब्रिक है वो हाई टेम्परेचर पे यूज़ करना है तो उसके लिए जो आप फाइबर यूज़ करेंगे आप डिफरेंट तरह के फाइबर यूज़ करेंगे जो कि आपको स्टेबिलिटी देंगे हाई टेम्परेचर पे. अगर आपने किसी ऐसी जगह यूज़ करना है कि जहाँ पे आपको उसकी जो स्ट्रेंथ ज़्यादा चाहिए तो वहाँ पे आप और तरह का फाइबर यूज़ करेंगे. जहाँ पे आपको इलास्टिक मटेरियल चाहिए वहाँ पे आप और तरह का फाइबर यूज़ करेंगे. सो बेसिकली द सिलेक्शन ऑफ द फाइबर फॉर manufacturing any textile product, it depends totally on the application where we are going to use that material. The final application of a textile product determines the type of fiber to be used in the manufacturing process. When we discuss about the types of fiber which are used for the manufacturing of textile products, so there is a huge variety. There is a wide variety of the fiber that can be used or which are in use. So we have different sources, like हमारे पास there are plant sources, like we are using cotton which is taken from a plant. We are dealing with some sources which are animal, like we are taking silk or wool. And then there are fibers which are man-made, like acrylic or nylon or those kind of products. And then there are mineral kind of fiber, like we use for asbestos, for example. So there are wide variety of the sources for obtaining fibers, and multiple kind of fibers are actually used in making different product. And that actually again as we discussed previously, it totally depends कि आपने जो है उन fibers को जो है वो कहाँ यूज़ करना है, उस फैब्रिक को कहाँ यूज़ करना है. Based on that we decide कि what kind of fiber we use a vegetative source of fiber which has a vegetative source, or from animal source, or we need to synthesize some fibers in the laboratory, or we used to have some inorganic materials. So that choice is totally dependent on the end use of the product. But overall, if we just want to name some of the commonly used type of fibers, then they are listed here in this slide, which you can see that some of the fiber which are commonly used are cotton, silk, wool, polyester, nylon, spandex, flax, acrylic, aramide, polyethylene and polypropylene, etc. So there are many varieties of the fiber which are used for making textile products, and some of them we have written over here, which you can see there. But apart from these commonly used fiber, हम जो है स्पेशली कई और डिज़ाइन करते हैं जो लैब में सिंथेसाइज किए जाते हैं इफ़ वी हैव सम सर्टेन काइंड ऑफ एप्लीकेशन. So depending on the application, many other kinds of fibers are also used in the manufacturing of textile products.
What do we mean by types of fibers? Fibers are just thin and long threads, right? Not entirely so. Tell me, which types of clothes are preferred by us during summer? Soft and light clothes usually made up of cotton, right? And during winter? Cozy and thick woolen clothes occupy the list. Bags which are made up of fabric need to be strong rather than comfortable. This tensile strength is provided by jute fibers. And what about the soft and glossy clothes used in daily life? They are made up of acrylic fibers. These few examples indicate that there are a variety of fabrics available for our use. For our simplicity, we divide fibers into two major categories. One category is natural fibers and the second category is synthetic fibers. Natural fibers, as the name says, are obtained from natural sources. So what could the sources be? Needless to say, the sources would be both plants and animals. Can we list a few examples of each type? Plants like cotton and jute give us natural fibers. Similarly, animals like sheep, goat, camel, and so many are also used for their fur and fleece. In contrast to these natural fibers, the synthetic ones are made by us in the laboratories or industries, to be precise. Nylon, polyester, acrylic, all these fibers are the best examples to study the synthetic fibers category. Lastly, do you know that some synthetic fibers are made using natural fibers as the starting material? Yes, it's true. Natural fibers are chemically processed and modified significantly to gain another category of fibers. These are called semi-synthetic fibers. Rayon, artificial wool are a couple of examples of this category. However, natural fibers still top the chart, especially in the garment industry, for its various benefits over synthetic fibers. Next,
So these are the references and some homework for you guys to do at home. So the following different source materials were used in the preparation of this lecture. You guys may consult those for if you if you want to go in the detail of that material. And all of you have to do some assignment, and actually I want you to study about the major textile industries of Pakistan, and especially those which are playing a major role in the export of those textile products. And you should study about their growth prospect, whether and how these industries can grow and increase the exports of our country, and also the challenges these industries are facing when they try to expand their business and to look after and to look for the more opportunities for exports worldwide. Please search about these materials and study and have a better understanding about the industrial status, textile industry status of Pakistan. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening and for your patience. In case you haven't understand anything from this lecture, so you are free to ask, so please let me know if you don't understand anything. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.